Hi guys, welcome to my first What's for Dinner video. Here my husband's putting a whole chicken that he seasoned up with rotisserie chicken seasoning. He has it on the smoker and he cooked it at 325 degrees until the thermometer read 165 degrees internally. Here's the chicken all finished. We let it rest while he made some creamy scallop potatoes. He scrubbed his potatoes really well and then he thinly sliced them in half moon shapes and added them to a bowl of cold water just to keep them from browning. You can slice these as thin as you want. Just the baking time will differ a little bit. Here are the ingredients for the potatoes. We have 4 cups of potatoes sliced, 3 tablespoons of butter, half a cup of onion, 3 tablespoons of flour, a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper, 1.5 cups of milk. We have altogether 10 ounces of cheese, 4 ounces for the sauce, and 6 ounces for the layers and the top. Here he is melting the butter. This makes a really thick sauce, but when you put it in the oven with the potatoes, it heats up and it just makes this delicious scallop potato sauce. We really enjoy it. To the butter, he is adding his onion, and he's going to cook these until they're nice and golden brown and translucent. This is a really great side dish, and it's a really great casserole if you want to add some ham or bacon to it. It's really delicious. We really enjoy it. He's cooking this at about a medium heat, and he's stirring it often to make sure his butter and onions don't burn. He's just keeping the onions moving, making sure they don't get too brown, making sure they cook evenly. This is kind of a long clip of cooking onions. Okay, here I'm adding the flour, and he just mixes that flour into the butter and cooks it until it's tan. He says you don't want to brown it too much. You definitely don't want to burn it. You'll have burnt flour sauce and it will not taste good. After he cooks the flour till it's that nice tan color, he is going to add in I'm going to pour in the milk while he stirs it. Oh, and he turns off the heat. He adds the milk while the heat is off. Yeah, he's telling you, you still don't want it on the burner because it's still hot. There I go. I add in the 1.5 cups of milk, and we did add in about another half a cup of milk later on. It just was a little bit too thick on this day. So he's going to turn the heat back on low. And he's just going to keep stirring this until it's smooth and it's going to start to thicken. The next thing he's going to add is the salt and pepper and the 4 ounces of cheese. That looks good. Nice creamy sauce. Yum. It's almost like a white gravy right now. Okay, oh yeah, we add in a little bit more milk, kind of thin it out a little bit. It was getting a little too thick. All right, there's the 4 ounces of cheese, and he is going to turn the heat off again and just mix the cheese in. And at this point, it's done. We're not doing anything else to this. It's gonna sit in here and cool, and it is gonna get a little thicker, but it's perfectly fine. It's supposed to be thick like this. Adding in that additional couple tablespoons of milk. Altogether, I would say it was not more than half a cup. And here we're gonna get our pan ready. I use this casserole size pan. I'm not sure what size this is. It's definitely bigger than I think it's I don't think it's a 9 by 12. I think it's a little bit bigger. Anyway, he's gonna spray it with some olive oil spray, and then he's gonna put down a layer of sliced potatoes. Oh, he's draining the potatoes. Actually, I'm draining the potatoes. This was, I think this was Sunday night. It's now Friday. I've forgotten a few things. All right, here he's going to put down his first layer of potatoes. Oh, this is so good. I'd happily eat this again tonight. It's so yummy. If you like scalloped potatoes, this is delicious. So he is going to take half of his sauce mixture, and he's just going to kind of plop it on there. It does not have to cover all of the potatoes. Like I said, once you put it in the oven, it kind of cooks all together, and all the potatoes get covered with that delicious sauce. And then he's going to add a layer of cheese. That is 6 ounces of cheese that he's using for the layers and then for the top. And he's just telling you, you don't have to cover it all up because, like I said, that sauce just gets everywhere when it's baking. You don't need to worry about the sauce not touching everything. All right, here he's putting the last bit of potatoes on the top. He's gonna scrape the rest of the sauce out of that pan. He was really struggling with his scraping it with his left hand, but he did a good job. Oh, this is so good. These potatoes are so good. Not healthy. I would not say healthy. Not low calorie, not low fat, but delicious. I hope you guys don't mind this voiceover. It is so loud in our house at night when we're making dinner. All 3 of the kids are home and they're hungry, and we're trying to do chores and homework, and it's loud. It's noisy. Hopefully in the future I can work it out because I don't know. I like a nice live video of what's for dinners. Not always voiceovers, but hopefully you guys will understand. So here he's just spreading that sauce out. He's going to top it with not quite all of that cheese. He reserves a little bit to put on about 10 minutes before it's done, just so it'll be nice and ooey gooey. Yeah, he's showing you he's saving that little bit. I actually add more to that here, but here it is out of the oven. This is about 50 minutes. It cooks for about an hour. I took it out 10 minutes early to put that remaining cheese on, and I decided it was not quite enough, and I'll show you here. I grab I grab another little handful out of the bag and I add it to it. This is just what was left in the bowl. And then here I'm gonna go ahead and help myself to some more cheese. Yeah, just a little bit, 1/4 of a cup, maybe more. We can always use a little extra cheese, right? Oh, it looks so good. And there it is, chicken, scalloped potatoes, and I cooked some asparagus on the side, which I did not enjoy. I'll tell you guys later about the asparagus issue. So here I am making a beef stew. This is like a week of comfort foods. I don't know why, but spring is kind of peeking around the corner, and I feel like I need to get these comfort foods in while we can, because here in Arizona, it gets hot and we don't want any of these comfort foods anymore. So here I'm adding a cup of flour to a bowl. I'm sorry, that is not a cup. That was half a cup. I'm getting my seasonings out of the cupboard because I'm unprepared. I am going to use this 1/4 teaspoon, and I'm going to put 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. We like this table ground black pepper just as good as the McCormick brand. So if you were thinking about getting the Great Value brand, just do it. It's cheaper and it's just as good. I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of this salt. That reminds me, I think I need to get some more salt. I have to add it to my grocery list. And here I have some onion powder. Quarter of a teaspoon of onion powder. And I think that's it. Let's see. Let's wait and see. Who knows what I'll throw in there. And nope, I'm stirring it up. Okay, that's it. It's kind of just whatever kind of seasonings you like to season your meat with is what I put in the flour. Because I'm just going to season my stew meat with this flour and coat it. And then I'm going to fry it in my cast iron pot over there. In my previous grocery haul, I had taken a London broil and cubed it up into stew meat, and that's what this is. This is just a London broil or a round steak that I cubed up. I had gotten it on a good sale, and I wanted to use it for stew. It had been a while since we had some beef stew. So here I'm taking about half of the meat and laying it in that hot oil with the flour. The flour gives a nice crust on the meat, and it also helps thicken the stew while it's cooking. This is the way my grandmother always did it, and my mom did it, and it's just the way I like it. It makes a nice thick stew. So I brown that meat on all sides for the most part. Here I am putting it on a paper plate, and then I'm going to do the other half of the meat. I did end up adding more oil to this because it was not browning like I wanted. So you'll see after I add this meat into the bottom of the pan, I just do probably like a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of olive oil to the bottom of the pan along with the meat. All right, here I am gonna chop up this onion. You don't have to use onion. Whatever you like in your beef stew, you can add to this. This is just what I've always added to my beef stew. I think peas would be really good in it too, but you know, my family they're kind of creatures of habit, and they don't care for when I change things up. They don't want to try new foods, and they don't want me to mess up the foods that I already make, that they enjoy. Actually, for the first time this year, I tried curry, and I made it myself at home, and it was delicious. My kids didn't really care for it, but I loved it. I'll have to make that sometime. All right, so I got this onion. I took the rest of my meat out and put the onion in the pot. I don't know what happened to that clip, but here the onion is cooking. It's getting nice and golden brown, and I'm adding a little pat of butter to it. Just, butter, more flavor, yum. Okay. Oh, I also need it for my roux. So I'm using 2 tablespoons of the seasoned flour that I used with the meat. And I'm gonna mix that up in there and kind of just let it cook with those onions, get that raw flour taste out of there. Just like you would a roux. Yeah, keep stirring it. You don't want your flour to burn. Definitely not. I'm going to add all that meat back in there. Okay, and then I'm going to add my water and my beef bouillon to this. Now you'll see me add 4 cups of water, but after the meat cooked down for a while, I ended up adding 2 more cups of water and 2 additional teaspoons of the beef bouillon mix. Or powder, not mix. All in all, 6 cups of water and 6 teaspoons of beef bouillon. Yeah, here's 2 more, so that's 4. Thank you. Thank you, Mandy. We can count. Then I've got my beef bouillon and my, what's that? Yeah, teaspoon. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear the wind in the background, but it's super windy here today. So if you hear some noise, it's the wind outside, very windy. All right, so I'm going to mix all that up. I'm going to put the lid on it. Yep. It's good and mixed. Yep. Okay. What else am I doing? What am I doing? Am I going to add something else to it? I think I do. I think I add some more seasonings to this. I'm searching for something. Getting my measuring spoon, I believe. Yep. Here we got 1/4 of a teaspoon. Oh, yes. Garlic powder. This is making me hungry too. This was really good. Onion powder. Another 1/4 of a teaspoon. Yum, yum, yum. And we are going to cook this meat until it's tender. And I lost the clip somewhere, but while this is cooking, I cooked my potatoes separately in the Instant Pot and then added them to this already cooked, just to speed up the process. I work 10 hours a day, 4 days a week, so I need as much time saving steps as possible. Hi! All right, so I set the timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to come back and stir it in 10 minutes. Here's my lovely pot holder. Just kidding, it's not a pot holder, it was my sleeve. You can see it's getting thicker. The meat is definitely not tender. It's probably cooked, but not tender. You're going to want to let this go at least 30 to 40 minutes, and that would be rushing it. I mean, it'd be great if you could let this cook for an hour, or brown the meat and add everything to the crock pot and let it cook, half the day, and then add potatoes in and let them cook the rest of the day. I just don't have that ability. All right, so I think I set the timer again for 10 more minutes. Okay, and here I think I already added in the potatoes. I'm sorry about the stupid camera angle. I also cooked the carrots on the side because my husband says when you cook carrots in the stew, it makes the whole stew taste like carrots. So we have found that if you cook them in a pot on the side and add them in at the end, you still get carrots, but it doesn't taste like, carrot stew. On this night, I'm making Salisbury steak. So I have some really fatty hamburger patties there that I made with my 80/20 ground beef, and I'm frying those up. And here I am quartering about 3 pounds of potatoes while holding the camera because I am super talented. And yes. Oh, and on this day I got my nails painted. Well, I painted my nails, I should say. Yes. Quarter the potatoes. Yep. Oh, yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. I'm throwing them in the Instant Pot. Very good. I'm making mashed potatoes. I'm going to add, I added some water. I'm going to put the lid on. Perfect. All right. It's not turning on. I got to jiggle the cord. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to pressure cook. And I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do here. It says more, and I always think that it means it's going to like pressure cook at a higher temperature, but it's not. It's on, I think it's on high right now. It's just how many minutes. So I did 12 minutes for my mashed potatoes. And when I took the meat out of the pan, I went ahead and added 3 cups of water, this mushroom gravy packet, which is very good, and 2 teaspoons of this beef bouillon. I'm just making my gravy here. Normally I flour the hamburger patties like I do my stew meat and cook them, but I was in a hurry on this day. I'm adding my beef patties back to the pan, into the gravy, and I'm going to let them cook in there so they get nice and soft and they can absorb all that yummy gravy flavor. I'm telling you, just a week of comfort food. It's making me hungry. Okay, and watching myself on videos, I notice that I'm always like shaking my hands over pots to get everything off of it. So here's the asparagus. I got this on a really good deal last week, and I thought these little skinny asparagus would be nice and tender and delicious. No, they were not. They were woody and terrible, and I had to cook them forever to get them soft. Here I'm picking out, that does not look good. Nope, no thank you. And I only get to use about half of the asparagus. Usually I'd cut about 3/4 off, but these were so tough, I could barely cut through them. And I don't know why. I think it's a spring vegetable. It should be, it should be more and more on sale because I think this is asparagus time of year. Is asparagus? No, maybe it's summer. Maybe asparagus is more summer vegetable. All right, so I'm just gonna rinse it here, and then I fill it back up with water and put it on the stove. I think what I was trying to say is it's asparagus season. I couldn't find the word, but my grandparents used to grow asparagus in California, and I want to say it is summer, maybe even late summer. I don't know. I mean, you get this stuff all throughout the year nowadays, but this asparagus should not have been, picked, or should have been picked a little sooner. I'm not really sure. Maybe it was just stored for a long time. Who knows, but not good. All right, so I got my meat patties there bubbling away, and I'm going to cook this asparagus forever. And there's my plate. Good morning. Today is Thursday, the last day of my week, and since we didn't have this roast last night, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the crock pot before work. It is 5:23 in the morning. I'll be leaving in a few minutes, and I'm going to let all of this cook all day long. As you can see, my roast is super frozen. I'm hoping I can get it out of that package, and then I'm going to pour over this brown gravy.
I have about half a pack of this ranch seasoning mix I'm gonna throw in there. Of course, some pepper. I have a little bit of minced onion left. And I'm gonna chop up this whole onion and throw it in there with it. And tonight when I get home, I will cook some potatoes and this will be dinner. All right. Okay, there it is. I just quartered the onion and I put a little pat of butter on top, probably about a tablespoon. I'm gonna put the lid on it and this is gonna cook, well, I'm gonna be gone for 10 hours. I'm gonna put it on low. I don't want it to turn to mush. It is frozen though, so I think I'll do 8 hours on low. And I'll be back in about 10 and a half hours and we will be eating some yummy pot roast out of the crock pot. Okay, I just got home and the roast had shut off, so I turned it back on high just to get it all warmed back up, and then I peeled about 6 potatoes and quartered them and threw them in the Instant Pot, and when they're done cooking, I'm gonna throw them in the crock pot with all that juice. I'm gonna add a cup of water to my Instant Pot, and I'm gonna cook it for about 12 minutes. My name is John Boyd. I'm a fourth generation farmer.
substitute for lunch yesterday.